Welcome to Nerds Geeks in the Kitchen Sink. It's the podcast that's like hanging out at the video store. Today is one of those days where it's more
Nobody
like
wants to listen to you. We
hanging
want
out
to
at
hear
the
from
comic
Umar.
store. I'm
We want
sorry.
to stop it. Just
I'll
stop
just
it.
stop.
Just stop.
No, they don't. That's rude to Umar because now he
That's
doesn't know.
DK. I'm Chris, your other host. And the big guy below us is the one and only Umar Ditta.
On my screen, he's to the left.
Well, mine is right underneath center where he should
I'm everywhere,
be.
guys. I'm everywhere.
I did say, I was talking to my wife and child before this, and I said, hey, 10 minutes till podcast, try to keep it down if you can. No big deal, but whatever. I have an international guest today.
Right.
They're like, whoa, what?
That's all right. 10 minutes before I started up, I had to yell at the guy next door cutting grass to give me an hour and a half.
Wow. Did he oblige you?
Yeah, he did.
Whoa.
He wants to be next week's guest, doesn't he?
I know him. No, I know him. He's a friend. I used to coach his kid in basketball. He's fine.
That's cool. Well, hey, we have Umar Ditta with us, comics writer, all-around cool guy, data lover.
Yeah.
I met him through the With Gorley and Russ podcast. Shout out to all those beautiful people. We're going to talk a lot of things. First of all, though, Chris, how you been?
It's been an utter shit show. I've been running constantly. I'm leaving tomorrow for Florida for my daughter's final non-collegiate cheer competition ever. And that's kind of bittersweet after almost 10 years. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So have a good time then. Enjoy that.
We will. I'm going to go see the new builds at Universal Studios before they're finished next year.
What do they have? What is it? I don't know anything about this.
You don't know anything about this?
No.
Oh, they're building 5 new attached lands to Universal Studios.
Anything I care about?
Classic Universal Monsters Land. Which
okay.
Is a whole entire.
That's all I really needed to hear.
Yeah.
They're doing the Nintendo Mario Land.
Take me back to Dracula Land, please.
Okay. Yes. And it's Universal Monsters. It's not any, the
Wolfman, the Invisible Man.
Yes.
The Dark Universe over there.
Yes, it is the Dark Universe. That's what they call it, literally.
I tried to watch that Tom Cruise Mummy.
Oh yeah, no.
The
black and white Dark Universe, not the.
I tried so hard to actually. I was like, oh, maybe people just didn't get it. It's not good.
No, Tom Cruise didn't get it either.
No. The best thing to come out of that, I'm sure I've talked about this, is that trailer that they put out with the missing audio.
Yeah,
it's the funniest thing ever. Anyway, Chris, go on. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. They've got the How to Train Your Dragons area. I'm trying to think, and then there's one more, but it's like 5 different lands, and it's a huge build. It's supposed to be open next year.
Very intrigued by Universal Monsters. I mean, those are my friends.
Yeah, and that's
I like those guys.
Literally, it's not just how Universal has Halloween Horror Nights. This is a whole entire year-round land dedicated straight to, Dracula's castle is in the land. And,
better be.
Yeah.
I wonder what version of Dracula's castle they'll go for.
Van Helsing, obviously.
Oh, please don't.
No.
That was my wife and I's first date to see Van Helsing.
I'll be honest, I got a bit of nostalgia for Van Helsing because if you're born around, like a teenager around that time, like I was, it still holds up, not because of the movie, but because of the nostalgia you have assigned to it. Like, it is not a good movie, but I like it.
Yep. No, I got to give you that. I don't like the way some of those, like that Dracula sucks. I don't know. Yeah. It's just not for me. But
pun intended there. Pun intended.
You got it. But too much CG, people flying around, whatever. But I'm not here to complain about it.
I like the sort of way that they went down where Van Helsing is basically Bond.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a good spin.
It's better than the Mummy.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
That movie for you, Umar, is kind of like The Wraith is for me.
I like The Wraith.
Oh, yes.
But you got to admit, it's a pretty damn hokey movie.
What are you talking about? It's a cinematic masterpiece.
What was the car that they had? The car was based on something. I can't remember. It wasn't because it was a Pontiac or something like that, like a concept car, and it's the Wraith's car.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I think you're right. I think it was some kind of Pontiac that they had based it off of. But yeah, but even just like a hubcap was left, and it would reform.
What about? I have another one like this. The
Okay.
Guyver.
Oh, that is such an awesome bad movie.
Not good.
Yeah,
I will watch it
But-
any day of the week.
but I've heard the manga and like the
The manga and the
that's
anime is
completely
awesome.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have Mark Hamill with a weird mustache, like a
Horn
really
mustache.
bad mustache. But I like he's in that sort of like Blade Runner jacket the whole time. You guys know that, like
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
like-
about. Yeah.
yeah, that like Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling both wear.
I think they tried to make the Guyver more of like the original Swamp Thing at the time.
It feels like Power Rangers or
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles or something.
but with a body horror element into it.
Yeah, well, is it
That's why I said kind of like the original Swamp Thing kind of.
what's his name? What's the effects guy? Is it Screaming Mad George? Is that his name?
Oh yeah. From he did
one of the
which
Nightmare on Elm
slasher was
Streets.
it? Was it
Nightmare on Elm Street 4?
That's it. Yeah.
I think so. He did the Roach Motel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Did he
right?
also do Sleepaway Camp, or was that someone else I'm thinking about?
Hmm.
Potentially, I don't know about that, but yeah,
I don't know,
Screaming Mad
maybe.
George, what a name.
Yeah, for real. Anyway, what are we talking about?
We were just checking in with Chris
Yeah,
and just
that's
down
right.
this rabbit hole.
Anything else, Chris?
Shocking.
Any movies or anything else you've read or seen that we want to talk about that we're not covering?
I was saying that we're really not covering. No. I did watch Argyle. That was a mistake.
Nope.
I
didn't bother.
It was on streaming on Apple, so I'm like, I couldn't sleep last night after we got home late, and I'm like,
Well,
it's a
your
new movie,
man crush is in there,
I'll
so
throw it on.
Henry
you know.
Cavill.
Hey, I could have worse.
No, you could have much worse. He's a pretty good choice.
But I saw his interview at CinemaCon, and I think I may have told you this. He has confirmed that they are in the final stages of pre-production with Highlander,
Yeah, I saw that.
and they are getting ready to start production on Warhammer.
Nice.
So, and
Those-
it's
I'm definitely more interested in Highlander.
and it's
I mean,
it's
the Warhammer
director-
universe is cool.
right? And it's the writer director of John Wick who's doing Highlander.
I don't have it. Just give it to me. Present it to me.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't need to say anything. I don't have any like, oh, but it better be that. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
No,
Just
no,
hand it over.
It is. I recently watched Highlander about a couple of weeks ago as well, and that's another one. But well, it is a good movie, but it has moments where you're like,
It's an 80s movie.
It's an 80s movie.
It's so 80s, yeah.
what's the name of the director, the Australian fella who did Razorback, which Razorback is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Razorback is,
Yeah.
but like you could tell like he's a music film director because there's what is it? One of my favorite. Oh, that's it. It's my favorite where you have the aquarium tank, and then you zoom in on it, and then it's the lock in
Yes.
Scotland. I'm like, sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool transition. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
there was
also the director, he is finished with the script of Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah. So he's scripting
So-
and directing that. Hopefully.
Yes,
Damn.
and there's
Damn.
still Sonata is still associated with it. So,
Very cool.
and
Look
after
forward to that.
watching Shogun, if you haven't seen Shogun, watch
I
that
love it.
series.
I love
That
Shogun.
is an amazing series, and that gives a blueprint of what Ghost of Tsushima should look like.
Yeah.
You mean like visually?
Yes.
and thematically and
I was
everything.
gonna say,
Because
everything is just spot on to that
Sure.
that time period, and it looks for it being a quote unquote Hulu FX
Hmm.
show. I mean, it's sheer big screen cinema.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Yeah.
I think
and just the like dialogue. Obviously, you got the Japanese dialogue coming in there, but just how Blackthorn,
Yes.
just the inventive way that he just curses at everyone. And I think recently in a recent episode of Comedy Bang Bang, Paul F. Tompkins. He did his character based on Blackthorn for a little bit, and he gets the accent spot on. He just had the insult, like, mangy dog cur and all this stuff. It's so good. Yeah, have you seen it, Justin?
Do what?
Have you seen Shogun?
I haven't watched it yet. No, I will.
So good.
Yes,
I will.
Yes. But anyway, that's pretty much what I've.
All right.
So that we're not talking about.
Right.
Later.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything, Umar, you've been reading, watching to discuss?
Reading falling behind on my pull list a little bit. I have a few from Vault on my pull list, but nothing recently, so I'm falling a bit behind there. In terms of movies, I watched the new Roadhouse.
I haven't done it yet.
Don't.
It's Roadhouse by name only.
Yeah. I kind of figured.
So much so I had to watch the original again just for its bonkersness.
You should.
A palate cleanser.
And 5-Day Rentals. 5-Day Rentals recently covered it. So if you want to hear the dirty dudes talking about Roadhouse, it's a great episode.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It's just unashamedly what it is. It is what it is. While the new one, it felt a bit tame.
Really?
I was waiting for and Conor McGregor.
Any throat rips?
No.
But
not a single throat
there was, but it weren't as good. It weren't.
No.
It was
Wasn't
no spoilers.
as dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Who cares if it's spoiled? It was a shitty movie.
Yeah, it was. It was at the end, like Conor
mean,
McGregor just does it at the end, and he just Conor McGregor being himself, and it was like he was like hamming it up in the wrong sort of way. He was in the wrong movie, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So it didn't really work. And same with everyone else. Like
I felt that from the trailer. Yeah.
I was waiting for the famous line of like how you used to fuck guys like you in prison. I was like, is it going to happen?
Yeah. When's it going to happen?
Like, you meant to have it because it's such
you
a
have to have
ridiculous line. It's a ridiculous line. Get it in there.
Incredible.
And
well,
to have fight
sucks.
scenes that are CGI'd.
Oh no!
And it's
that
like
threw me out of it.
Insane. I was like, come on.
Who's the? I'm sorry, I
the
didn't
cooler, Jake. I can never say his second name.
No, I was thinking of Sam Elliott. Who's the Sam Elliott character?
He doesn't have one.
What the hell?
I know. Yeah.
And was Magnus the guy who's in No Time to Die as the rookie agent?
Yeah,
he's like the big bad ish, like he's very
not
tame.
The same. Yeah.
No,
he's like just your average rich prick guy.
Yeah,
he's not that sinister like money guy that everybody kind of cowers because he runs like over your car dealership with a monster truck.
Yeah,
I mean that doesn't happen. How the hell do you have a Roadhouse movie and that not happen?
And like Roadhouse, it is like, let's say the original, when it comes to like because it's 89, I think it was right on the cusp of the 80s. It is a quintessential 80s movie, and it is what it is on. It says what it says on the tin. Like it isn't like the elevated ones or any sort of good one, even though elevated is a wanky term. But like might say Die Hard, a classic, or any of those sort of action movies, Lethal Weapon, a stone cold classic. But you get entertainment from it. In the new remake, I was bored. I was like, no, like what's going on here?
Yeah.
There's moments that were funny, but not much.
Yeah. Now, Umar, I have a question. Now, watching the original and watching the new one, did it throw you off? And this kind of threw me off. That and it's a little thing, having the same band throughout the whole thing in the original compared to like random people they had playing music. I mean, because the Jeff Healey band was like a character in itself.
It like sets the tone, and
they even had a bit of dialogue and a bit or two back and forth with Patrick Swayze. They did that classic trope where just for the audience, they don't know each other. Oh, we don't know each other, but actually we're good friends, and I'm not doing that for. But it's fine. I enjoyed it, but I don't like these multiple bands kicking in because it just. If anything, it sort of fits the tone of the remake because it makes it as generic as that movie was. Keep looping it.
I think that's the final word on the new Roadhouse.
That was
ice cold.
That was,
I don't know how it's still trending in Amazon after like a month or whatever. I'm like, guys, watch something else, please.
Yeah.
I know that crap has got to be just, generated. Because I see some of these shows that they say, in the top 10 on Netflix or Amazon, and I'm like, there is no fucking way that everybody is still watching that shit.
I would say never underestimate people's shitty taste.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll give you
There
that.
is Hollywood, so there's a whole region of shitty taste.
Um. Oh. So movies wise, I watched not quite like a sort of geeky movie, but American Fiction with
That's a good
what's his
movie.
face? That's a really good movie. I really
That's a
enjoyed
really
it.
good movie.
I went into it blind because I was like, let's watch something on Amazon, and I was like, yep. I'm glad I went into it blind. And this is one that Roadhouse I would spoil for everyone so they don't have to watch it. But American Fiction, you can watch the trailer, you can read the synopsis. So it's best to just go in there and enjoy the movie, and it's really good. What's his name? Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Wright.
Wright, and what's his name? He was in This Is Us. His brother.
Yeah.
Brown is his last name. K. Brown. I can't remember his first name, but he's actually from St. Louis.
Sterling.
Sterling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Sterling K. Brown.
Brown.
Yeah, he didn't get like the supporting actor nomination for that, and rightly so.
He should.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's brilliant in that. So that's like, so you got, for every, to be fair, in Amazon, for every Roadhouse you have American Fiction, which is 100 times better
Oh yeah.
movie than it, like hands down. In terms of, well, I've been playing games, more like the Arkham games. I would say I revisit them, but I haven't revisited them because I've never played them the first time round.
Oh, okay.
Just that is one that totally missed me. But, I enjoyed these sort of combo button, sort of fight combat that it has, like in Spider-Man,
Yeah,
and Sleeping Dogs and all of that. But
I think that was
Arkham.
the first one that really had that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's just one that sort of flew me by, and it was one that my nephew, in fact, was like he had it on his PlayStation, and how you can share games across. So I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. Unfortunately, I started with Arkham Knight because I thought that'd be the best. The Batmobile let it down. I don't want to use the Batmobile. Like, why are you forcing me to use the Batmobile? But now I'm doing Arkham Asylum, and I
It's
love
my favorite.
it.
That's my favorite one.
That's flat out.
Yep.
It's so good. It is like, yes, I've been a fool for not playing them, but I'm making up for lost time. So don't come at me. I'm doing my best.
I won't.
Holy shit, it's amazing.
Asylum is my favorite of all of them easily.
Yes.
The tone of it,
absolutely.
it captures Batman in the same way that the animated series did.
Oh yeah,
it's so
good, and it's basically with Arkham Knight. It is a bit more advanced, and like the graphics is better. But actually, yeah, Asylum's just, I'm like halfway through the game right now, and head and shoulders above Arkham Knight in terms of story, in terms of,
they let you play as Batman would do it. Like you really feel like Batman.
Yeah, 100%.
All the gadgets, all the going up in the hanging on the gargoyles and going around the ceilings of the rooms and scaring the guards and all that. And the fights, when you do get into a huge fight, the way that works, it's perfect.
When you do the counter, and it's just like the little touches where like you take that bat and you just bash their heads with it. I'm like, oh, it's a brilliant game. So yeah, I'm just sort of playing that, making up for lost time.
Okay, just to warn you though, and this is supposed to be in that whole Arkham, set of games. Do not even attempt playing the new Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Oh yeah,
I haven't tried it yet.
That game is an utter bastardization of anything Batman and Justice League.
Is it better or worse than Gotham Knights?
Worse.
Whoa, shit.
If so, what I've got planned is obviously Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, maybe Origins, but I might need to play that on my PC because then I've completely experienced it. But the other side of it, that I remember you talking about this a few years ago, Dustin, but Midnight Suns is meant to be really good.
I love it.
I still play it.
Here's what I say. You should finish this run of Arkham.
Yeah.
Don't go to the next Arkham game. Play Midnight Suns.
Yes.
Palette cleanse. And then go into Batman. Midnight Suns for me is like, I've literally just this last week, I've said to multiple people, I think I'm going to play Midnight Suns again. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think to me, it will be a lifelong classic. Truly. There's so much, and there's so much stuff I didn't even touch. There's so much stuff I didn't do in that game. And I think my playthrough was like 90 hours.
I'll be going into it pretty, like, not knowing much about it. Obviously, I know the Midnight Suns as if the team, but gameplay wise, how different is it to like the Arkham? What was it most similar to? What sort of
So
game is it?
different. Have you ever played XCOM?
Oh yeah, like the team one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more like XCOM.
Okay.
So you are building your squad, and you can take whoever you want on these missions. But so like it's similar to games like Mass Effect, when you have like a relationship system with these characters, you're building the bond between the heroes. And you, by the way, you play as a custom character, which is always fun. And your character interacts with Captain America and Blade and Ghost Rider and all these. Yeah. So you're building this squad, and there's this whole cycle to the gameplay. So it basically goes by days. The day will start, and you can do things like you can go work out with Captain America, or you can go do training in the virtual training thing. There's like a jillion things you can do. You're also like there's like a ton of side quests where you're like making potions, and you can craft items, and you're bringing things to Tony Stark, and Doctor Strange is giving you magical items. There's just a jillion things you can do every single one of these days in the game. And then as you go through the day, then it's like time for a mission. You choose a mission, you grab your team, whoever you want to take, and then you come back, and then it's further like leisure time. So it's like, who do you want to hang out with for the night? And this is like a huge boost to your bond with that character.
Which also is a huge boost to your stats with your relationship when you put that team together. And you'll figure out which team works best for you, and depending on your gameplay. And also, there are a lot of missions where you have to at least take one specific character with you.
It's good to...
So you can't always just say, well, I'm picking Captain America, Wolverine, and,
because it won't fit to the mission.
Right.
Yeah. But I kind of glossed over the way the combat works. It's not like a beat 'em up masher at all. It's almost more like playing chess. You're moving your guys around within, an arena type map. It's not too big. And based on where they are, you can use the environment to attack. You can use, it's also a card game. So you're using these cards to perform actions, defensive or offensive actions.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. It's really fun. I definitely recommend it.
Just when you're describing the sort of like the leisure time that you have and you're taking it easy in the morning, I'm just thinking that why haven't they done a X-Men Sims game yet, where like you...
This is as close to that as you're going to get.
We're in the X-Mansion.
That'd be so great. I'm not kidding.
And honestly, you're at this like, not any kind of real spoiler with him, but you're at this like sanctuary, like that was a converted monastery or something. So it's kind of like the X-Mansion to a degree.
Yep.
Because they've got a training grounds, they've got like a lab that half of it's with Doctor Strange and half of it's with Tony Stark. So you like have the occult and tech kind of combined. And then you have like a small mission room to where like, say some of my lesser guys, I'll send them on specific missions.
On their own,
On their own, and they'll build up like while I'm doing a separate mission.
Cool.
Then there's like several different things. There's a library, and
there's a book club, Umar. Yeah. You can join a book club and go to book club meetings that have full audio dialogue.
I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess who's leading it. I'm going to say Hank McCoy. He would be a good... No.
You might be surprised at who
he would be very surprised.
Okay. I don't want to give it away. I think you would be surprised.
Okay.
It's pretty fucking cool, Umar.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite. It's right. Ghost of Tsushima is like my favorite game of all time. And I think I have probably almost 1,000 hours in that game.
Ghosts or Midnight?
Ghosts. But I probably have like 400 hours on X-Men or on
Midnight Suns.
They could so easily do a sequel where it's just X-Men and you're at the X-Mansion. It would be perfect. But I think that this game, it was not a huge hit, I don't think. And I think that people thought it was going to be some kind of a brawler action game.
Yeah.
But to me, this is a game that will be a cult classic going forward. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'll do what you said there, Dustin. I'll finish off Arkham Asylum, and then I'll who knows, I might end up staying on Midnight Suns and probably surpass your 400 hours and your 1,000 hours and don't get to Arkham City at all.
The other Arkham games are good. I like them.
Oh yeah.
They're all great, but I think you're having the best. For me, you're having the best Batman experience right now.
Yeah.
So like put that down. Because if you go right to the next one, you might be like, it didn't quite hit me the same way.
Yeah.
So do Midnight Suns first, cleanse your palate a little bit, and then go back to Batman and go, oh, this feels great.
Yeah. No, will do.
Hey, we should talk about like who you really are and why you're here.
I just stumbled into the I just clicked on the link and here I am.
Right.
So guys, Umar is an amazing comics writer. He has already got some fantastic stuff that's out there that you can get now. Go buy it. There's a link in the description for this episode. Umar, why don't you talk about right now though, like what you have going on, the Kickstarter and everything?
All right, yeah, sure. What I have launched, I think, about a few days ago on Thursday was Lad issue 4, the fourth and final issue in the Archway is the final issue of Lad. Lad is a comic that I started back in I think it was 2019. Self-published it through Kickstarter. The first 3 issues had Carlos Pedro on the art. He left the project, and in this final issue, we have the very talented Ben Philby on there. And I guess I started with like what Lad's about. It is when they say that you got to like put a story together in like a sentence or two to describe it. Lad, I kind of find difficult to do sometimes because it's a crime horror thriller based in England, but not set in any sort of time period or any sort of moment in time. It's just a snapshot of what I consider as like sort of like the north of England, but within there, thrown in for good measure, is a bit of mysticism and a bit of I guess a bit like eldritch sort of horror, in there, but psychological thriller aspects in there. But it's basically a story of a crime family that lives in a town that is surrounded by this massive and sprawling forest. When the leader of this crime family is found beaten and left for dead on the outskirts of the town, it triggers a whole set of events that sends Lad, like the young member of the crime family, and a few other young members going into the forest to get revenge, and shit just gets real from there. It's been fun. It's like the 4th issue that we've got coming out now, where everything is sort of coming into a head. Stuff I've been building up, but so far the Kickstarter is going well. We're over 50% of our target, but obviously we've got like just over 3 weeks to get the remaining amount. But I'm really happy with it. Really, I wonder how people are going to react to how it wraps up. But I think we've we've done a good job there. But just one of those things.
Yeah. Well, I will say for people who may not be sure, to me, the Lad series is so refreshingly badass and different from a lot of the stuff you're going to read. Unique, I think unique is a really good word for it. It's so different from the mainstream stuff that you're going to see. And it's the visuals are like number one, gorgeous. The story's excellent. It's got this whole vibe. I love the Lad series. They're so good. If people aren't sure, I would recommend checking out the Kickstarter. Take a look at the art. It's pretty reasonably priced too. You can't really go wrong, and there are some options, like you can get digital or physical.
Yeah, absolutely.
I highly recommend just try the digital if you're not sure.
Right.
Sincerely, I love the Lad comics. They're really good. I like your other stuff too, but Lad is the one for me that really did it. So just personally,
appreciate it.
I really love it. Chris, you've read those, right?
Yeah, I've read them. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, you know me, I always rail for independent comics over the flaming pile of dog shit that we've been getting for the last 10 to 12 years in mainstream. And Lad is one of those that's top notch on there for me too.
I appreciate it.
I love the visuals. And I did want to ask, with switching artists, is there any real difference? I mean, I'm sure stylized wise, but I mean the conceptual visuals. Did you go in a different direction with the new artist, or is it kind of
good question.
Yeah,
good question with that. So like with Ben Ben taking over the the artwork duties from Carlos, he was also a bit apprehensive about, because especially when it's like the sort of wrapping up the whole series, you don't want to be stepping on any toes or any sort of like being taken the wrong way when you put your artwork out there.
Right.
But I think Ben did a really good job where he sort of towed the line between keeping the artwork consistent with the other three issues that we've seen, but also add his own sort of elements into that. And there have been aspects in the story itself where Ben, and I encouraged him to do this, where he took a bit of like artistic freedom on the paneling. So like, just say in the script, like, 5 panels and this action happens in there, and then he messaged me back saying, oh, I'm going to like spread it over 7 panels here, and this is the sort of thing I want to go for. So that's the sort of thing where he's added his own flair onto it. But like because it's interesting because he's had pretty much all the other characters had previously existed in the comic, but he's taken those sort of cues from the previous artist and he's made it his own. And obviously I'm biased, but I really love with what he's done here. But obviously the feedback that I've heard from other people that I shared it with, they think he's done a fantastic job, and I really do think he has with sort of wrapping up the story.
Right,
Chris, let me tell you from what I've seen of it, of the final issue, you got nothing to worry about. Readers have nothing to worry about. If you're a previous fan, the new ones slots right in. There's no, it's not jarring in any way. It's gorgeous.
I trust Umar's judgment completely that, if he says, spot on, and looks visually stunning, then I'm all for it. And hey, let Ben know we'd love to have him on the show, because anything that we can promote, anything that he's got upcoming past this, or just talk.
I will definitely let him know about the invite. Absolutely, I'll let him know about the invite. What Ben previously worked on is it's called Tomb of the Blank Horse. The reason why I say blank is because that was another 4 issue that is based on the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. So as you can see, already sort of fit in.
He's got me on the concept already. So
yeah, exactly. So I always get the colors wrong, but it's like the red horse, the white horse, the green horse, and I think black horse. I think the first one was a black horse. Again, I can't remember which one it is, but the cool thing is he did these 4 issues with Ian. No, his name is it Ian Mudrick? The name will come into, but the writer on there, he did amazing work there, and it's a really interesting concept. And when I've known Ben for a while, we've been mates, and when I was looking for a new artist, I was like, this will have to do, like, with what the work that he's done on the Tomb series. It was exactly like
Tomb of the White Horse.
Tomb of the White Horse.
Tomb of the White Horse, and it's Ian Mondrick.
Yeah, it was just Mondrick. Yeah, Mondrick. Yeah, that's it. I was like, Modric. Modric is a footballer that I got confused. But Ian Mondrick, and them working together was exactly. And the other brilliant thing about this is each issue you see Ben going from strength to strength with his artwork, and it's exactly the sort of thing that we're going for Lad, because obviously that one's fully colored, but Lad is black and white, and it's the visceral sort of punches that he had on there. So obviously he was talking to Ben about bringing him onto the project, and I just got to be honest, he like I mentioned before, he was not apprehensive, but just a bit cautious about taking over the project, seeing what happens. But he knocked it out of the park, and some of the visuals that he did there, like you seen it, Dustin, like just crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Fucking great. I don't know what else to say. It's really, really good.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah. So, I mean, can you give people who might still be hesitant, can you, is there anything you can compare it to in comics or otherwise film?
Yeah, so some of the sort of comparisons I always have. So it sort of reminds me of when I'm on in a con and I'm at the table, sort of like pitching the idea, like you need to like
sell it to me.
Yeah. Exactly. Just the sort of artwork and the sort of story, I have it like in line with Hellblazer, sort of like the sort of gritty side of comics and all that stuff. But ironically, I sort of go down the movie route, because the big sort of influence on Lad was Blue Ruin. That just an amazing movie, that, and also The Hitcher and Dead Man's Shoes. which it wasn't filmed too far from myself. But but as a side note, if anyone hasn't seen Dead Man's Shoes by Shane Meadows, it's an amazing movie. It is that lad. It just doesn't pull any punches. It just is visceral, and it is like just straight to the point. So those are sort of if you've got those sort of ideas in your head of what lad, basically what is lad, and it's those sort of themes and those sort of stories, you pretty much got it in your head. That's what it is. Just no nonsense. Just a brutal, let's be honest, a brutal story told in a way that it does have some sort of, I guess, heartwarming moments. I've been told sort of where it's like that sort of lulls you in, but then obviously we're just breaking kneecaps when you get too close. It's very, very.
Yeah.
Because obviously when I write it, I'm like, this is the story I've done. But then people tell me certain aspects, especially in like previous issues, where obviously I won't go into spoilers, but when there's like the moment with a younger uncle, which is one of the characters in the basement, and what happens there with the other character dad, and how like visceral it is. People are like, that's just horrible. And I'm is it? I don't know, but I guess it is. I guess it is, yeah.
Beautiful. Well,
awesome.
I really encourage people to check this out. Again, there will be a link in the description of the episode. Please support the Kickstarter. It's well worth your money. And like I said, it's pretty affordable.
Yeah.
So if you want to help, I really want this to succeed because I want to see what happens for your next comics. What's coming next. I want this one to work so you can continue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really appreciate it. And I'm at an interesting moment where I, just plotting out a few ideas that I have. Nothing concrete yet. I did have the what's it called, Monsterverse sort of book with Legendary. That was all penciled in. Unfortunately, I think they've gone a different route with that one. So no harm, no foul with that one. But it sort of freed up time on my side to try other stuff. So there's. Again, I can't really share that much what's down the line, but the sort of idea that I have is it's I want to do, well, it's probably done to death, but in my own sort of take on it, a Western in space, but like on Mars. But the sort of, again, I'm still mapping it out. I mean, if someone beats me to the punch, sure, go for it. But the little twist that I want to add on to that is Western in space. But it's what if Elon Musk took these guys to space? Like it's the Dogecoin guys who went to space first, and it's a Western. So
you're saying
that's the sort of idea on there.
The Fire Festival on Mars. Is that what you're saying?
Fire Festival on Mars.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, something like that.
I'll read it. If it happens, I'll read it. There's
absolutely tons of room for something like that, even if somebody comes up with. I mean, it's not like it's not a proven concept, Firefly. Anyway,
Firefly.
Western in space. It's
right. Okay.
It's not like it's a proven concept.
I was 10 seconds behind.
Okay. So I'm just saying, there's plenty of room for something like that. So I'll be more than encouraged by that idea.
It's like basically, what if it's Firefly in space? Firefly is in space. So I'm saying Firefly. But Mal was even more stupid. If that's even done. So that's the sort of route that I'm going with again. So like, watch this space, see what happens. Nothing concrete yet, just sort of playing with ideas.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right. Anything else you want to share about that before you go on?
So with the Kickstarter itself, so I think the deadline is around the 10th, I think, of May. So there's plenty of time for yourself to have a look at the Kickstarter, see what rewards you want to, reward tier you want to back. We are adding some more tiers here and there, so it won't be anything with the original tiers that you have, with issue 1, 2, 3, back issues, all that sort of tiers we have, but it's more in line with the original artwork. So we have a few pages that Ben is very graciously putting up for as a reward tier in there. We currently have page 5 and not 7 and 10 or something like that. Basically, have a look at the Kickstarter. We're still adding new pages, really bringing artwork by then. Perfect to go in your office or in your office or on your wall anywhere or anything like that. You can just stick it outside your window, wherever you fancy. It's entirely up to you.
Awesome. Well, once again, I hope people jump on this because it's really cool.
It's not hope. They will do it. Go do it.
I
I
hope
mean,
they
just
will.
simple as that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for telling us about that, and I wish you the
Absolutely.
biggest luck on that.
No, appreciate it, guys.
Um,
Appreciate it.
I know we could probably talk about Fallout next,
Okay.
since we're talking about the post-apocalypse, kind of the Mars thing. We watched the first episode. Chris and I both saw the first episode of Fallout. You've seen further than that.
Yeah, on the penultimate episode, so I've
Damn.
got 2 more left.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm not good at binging shows.
Normally,
I'm
not.
terrible at it.
It depends on the show for me. It
100%.
really does. I mean, how invested I am in the beginning episode or maybe 2,
Yeah.
then I can maybe go through, if it's not something like, 16, 18 episodes, I can't binge that.
Yeah.
No.
But, something as short, 5, 6, 7, maybe. But
I like weekly television.
I'm
I
like
like to wait a week. I don't mind
Yeah.
that time. I like it because it makes the experience last a little longer. I get to live in the world of whatever that is and be thinking about it all the time and talking about it for, whatever it is, 8 weeks instead of 1 week. I want to enjoy this thing for longer.
I grew up in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. I'm used to episodic and I'm fine with it. And most of my fondest memories is sitting there waiting, next Tuesday.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so,
Absolutely.
It's obviously Shogun, like we mentioned before. That's
Yes.
weekly, and that's fine by me. Like, obviously, the only me and myself growing up in the 90s and early 2000s as well. Like, it's the only thing that really annoyed me was if you missed the time slot, then there was no such thing as catch up.
Right.
No,
Right,
it's
right.
gone.
It was
It's
the end of the
gone.
world if you didn't tape it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the one plus side that I give. But no, but I agree with you guys. Where like the weekly sort of episodes, it just it just is daunting when you see like 8 hours. I don't see it as 8 episodes. I see it as 8 hours of stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
just
It's
once
a whole
week.
shift
Yeah.
at work. Come on.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I feel the same way. So, but let's get into Fallout a little bit now. I would say that I'm not the world's biggest Fallout fan of the games.
Yeah.
I like them. I've played pretty much all of them. So I get the world. I know, I understand the references to most of the stuff. But I am certainly not the world's largest Fallout fan. I was always more of a BioShock, type direction. But I see that they're similar in some ways. Anyway, it's not important. The show, without too many spoilers, I think captures the game pretty well, or at least to my sort of medium fan level.
Right.
I'm seeing tons of things I recognize. I'm even getting things like, all right, let's just say that they're spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, get away now, because I'm going to give some spoilers.
Yeah.
For episode 1 only. There are moments that I found so charming in the Fallout TV show where I was like, oh, they're just translating the game to me. So like when she looks at the knife and then looks at the gun, she's doing inventory management.
Yeah.
The cake, there's a guy eating cake in the middle of a fight. That is a thing you definitely do in Fallout.
Yeah.
There's tons of little things like that maybe, I don't know if people would necessarily pick up right away.
Well, and a lot of the Pip-Boy use too.
Oh, for sure.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's the more obvious, but like tons of little concepts like that.
Yeah.
Where it's just like little things that you would only do in Fallout or a Bethesda game in general.
Right.
I find those little touches to be fantastic. And I think
so.
Oh, go ahead.
So from my side, I won't dare call myself as like a mega fan of Fallout or basically, but I am more than like a middle fan because I played it. I even played the original a little bit. I was way too young for it. I didn't understand much of it.
Yeah.
But I did it's the sort of the top down isometric one, and I did that a little bit. But obviously, Fallout 3 was my first game that really got me into it, and Fallout 4 for all its for all its flaws is really a fun game.
Yeah.
But obviously, New Vegas is the best out of the bunch.
That's the one everyone. Yeah.
It's the best one, full stop. But this TV show, exactly what you said there, it covers both bases. I saw a tweet from Dan Hett, who is in fact I work with him on a computer game based in Manchester, a computer designer guy, and he did the meme from what's it called? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. DiCaprio is doing the punch.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So that pointing meme, he put it on twice, and he said you get the same reaction when you get it from people who aren't Fallout fans and people who are mega Fallout fans, because there's so many little touches, but there's also so much great stuff in the TV show. I'm a really big fan of it. So I'm a few episodes ahead of you guys. Just got a few left, 2 left, but it has these little nods, like I said, the inventory check, and it has obviously a bit more in your face sort of references.
She's giving you her player stats at the beginning.
Yes,
she's literally giving you her stats.
Which is just perfect, and it's
so great.
And it is also the world building that they have, where obviously in the first episode when she gets into the to the fight, after the fight, she takes a stim pack out. They don't say it's a stim pack, but she takes a stim pack out because she needs it. And when the raider he takes that inhaler, it's psycho. It's from the game. You don't need to explain what it is. And even if someone's like, I was watching it with my wife, and I was doing the annoying thing where I was like telling her stuff before it was happening, because I was like, oh, that's a raider. She goes, what do you mean? And then in the show they say, oh, I'm a raider. I'm like, so that's sort of,
I did the same thing. I get
that too. Yeah.
We're all guilty. We're all guilty on it. But it was that. I'll be honest, like when it comes to like the TV shows or new TV shows, I'm kind of in the camp of, I guess, with like yourself, Chris, where I like to stick to my own like old stuff. Like I can't be asked with like I haven't seen the Halo TV show because I've not been a fan of Halo, but I've seen that he takes off the. I'm not what I mean by a fan. I weren't really exposed to it as a kid, but I played a little bit of it because I was a PlayStation kid, not an Xbox. But I love the thing. But I know Master Chief doesn't remove his helmet.
Yeah.
Which is all right, guys. Like, okay,
first episode.
To me that seems wrong.
While with Fallout, they sort of straddle that line perfectly, where they are faithful and they hit all the marks that the fans would have had, but they allow enough new and inventive stuff, which makes it fresh for people who haven't seen the game, who haven't played the game before, but also feel like fans of it. Where I'm like, oh yeah, they haven't been to California before.
The fact that I think you're onto something here.
Right.
The fact that it is not a straight adaptation of any one story. They've basically made their own new Fallout game as a TV show.
Yeah. But stayed within the parameters of the world.
Yeah.
And I was, kind of going on one thing that you said with like talking about the stim pack and the, all that. I like that I'm not spoon-fed and has to be verbalized every single aspect of something, especially when a new show is doing world building. I don't have to be told, oh, I'm gonna grab my stim pack, or oh, I better take, the fact that she just did it, and okay, well, we know what this kind of is. At some point, they may, I gotta find a stim pack, and you're like, oh, back in the first one they talked about that. Oh, I get that's what it was.
It's not insulting the audience at all.
Right. No, it's not insulting the intelligence of the audience that already knows, but they're still giving a little bit of extra world building of things that surround that world for people that may not.
And have you guys ever seen the movie that Fallout is, influenced by, not the Mad Max stuff, but The Boy and His Dog?
I haven't seen that.
What's the name in Miami Vice?
Don Johnson.
Don Johnson. That's it. So this is in the mid-70s. I love this movie. It's such a weird little quirky movie. It's basically it's Mad Max and Fallout before Mad Max and Fallout. So it's a small independent movie where Don Johnson is in a post-apocalyptic landscape with his dog, who's also telepathic. And it's literally like, all the scenes that you see in Fallout in the game and all the scenes that you sort of see in Mad Max is sort of influenced by this movie. I won't go too much into it, but it even has how like Vault Tech and the vaults in Fallout are insidious, like they are creepy, like they have a there are like he goes into a society which very much reminds you of Vault Tech, and I have a feeling that, especially in the first episode of Fallout, that they were directly referencing the sort of cultures that they had in the Boy and His Dog, because it reminded me very much of it, with like the idyllic sort of 50s landscape, but there's a bit of creepiness in there.
Yeah, that like I love the the aesthetics, you know, like the 50s sci-fi look
Right.
never went away. It just continued that way. The cars and the just everything.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Because I think like the whole thing about again, just to give a bit of people reference for Fallout, I can't remember what the invention is, but the whole thing is where the world of Fallout, where it's created, is it's just basically a parallel universe to us. Where I think in the 50s or 60s, what is it? Is it the semiconductor or basically we haven't discovered something like a microchip or something like that because we still use the cathode tubes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
we don't have. It was a certain invention that had been created, and that's where Fallout universe begins, which is such an awesome concept. It's like, what is it? Or just that one thing hasn't been invented, and this is where we've gone down this path, and the Red Scare, the nuclear wasteland, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a really big fan of Fallout, but I can't stress enough that New Vegas is the best one.
Yeah, I think most people would agree with you, probably. And you know, I've only seen the first episode, so I'm going to reserve judgment. But so far, this has been maybe my favorite Fallout thing ever yet. I think it works so well as a show. You know, obviously I've only seen the first episode, so we'll continue when we'll see. But I did not. Let's just say this: I've played them. I like them. I've never loved them. But I think I could love this show.
No, definitely. Myself going into the episodes that I'm on, it literally I heard my wife say the words, "There's so much world building," and I was like, "Honey, like the history of the game, like I can't even get into it." They are just tapping at the like the whole lore that they have in Fallout. Like that again, not going into too much spoilers down the line, but like the NCR gets name checked, the other sort of factions that you have, they get name checked, but they get referenced to why they're being name checked, and it sort of just builds a world more and more. And we haven't even talked about the ghoul in the room.
That's all I wanted to talk about.
Can we say Walton Goggins?
He gets so much better.
He's already awesome.
He starts off at here, and he just goes up.
That's what I said.
He's literally Hancock.
With him like bookending the first episode. He like steals the entire
scene
episode,
was awesome.
and with only doing bookends.
Are you guys in the first episode? Does Philly happen? Philly, the town of Philly? No. Filly. Okay, so that's something to look forward to. I can't remember if it was in the first episode or second or third.
At the end of the first episode, he comes out of his coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
So great.
Good.
That's what I said. He
great.
Bookends that episode because the event happens at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, and then his
he just gets better. He just he is like anti-hero, but to the next level. Like they get it spot on, because obviously it can be a cliched anti-hero, you can be how it is, but again, as you watch more episodes, as you guys can probably expect from seeing the first one, it jumps time a lot. So you see a bit more backstory, you get back into the story, and it's really done really well.
Well, another thing I want to point out is that he looks incredible as the ghoul.
Yeah,
and not only that, but I think the show itself looks really good, like really, really good.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed any CG that made me kind of,
cringe.
No, I haven't noticed anything like that. And so much of it is CG. We know that, but holy shit.
It's the T-60 armor's flawless.
They
it
look
looks
great.
like there's someone wearing the armor in there.
There's so many things.
Even the up close shots in the armor doesn't look, hokey, or where you almost can't tell at all. I mean, the only time you can almost see, but it was like, okay, I can see where they would use wires that the guys in the armor is where he jumps on the plane at the end.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, now I know it's CGI. But until that point,
it doesn't take you away.
No, it doesn't take you away at all.
I'm just really impressed with how good it looks.
There's also a part when in one of the episodes where the vertibird is just like flying across like the wasteland, and you see the reflection in the water, and I'm like, this is really like next level design work that they are really good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really impressed and surprised, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. I will be finishing the show for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm glad you guys agree with me. That's really cool.
I mean, I was kind of apprehensive at first.
Same here.
For
Especially
sure.
the way they showed the trailer I don't think did it any service whatsoever. I think it was kind of just mishmashed, and you're like, the way they're pushing some of the story, it's like that doesn't make real sense. But then watching the first episode in its entirety, and the way they set it out, and the way they like developed it from like I said, my biggest thing, and especially with a lot of modern shows and a lot of movies, they're spoon feeding you like you're a moron. And this show just is not doing
it. Doesn't feel like that at all to me.
That's what I said. This show is not doing that whatsoever.
Did you? I've kind of noticed. I've just seen it, and maybe I'm putting this together from nothing, but I've seen a couple weird news things regarding Todd Howard maybe not being hyped about the show.
Well, Todd Howard's a little weirdo, but I know what he's done. But
he's a little weirdo.
Notoriously a little weirdo. I mean, come on.
I just want to point out that I noticed, like, I saw a clip of him. And it's IGN saying, "Hey, we gave the Fallout show a 9." It's like it's like at the end of an interview or something. And it's almost like he's about to walk away, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we gave it a 9." And he's like, "Really? You gave the show a 9?" Like he seems legitimately surprised.
Yeah,
that IGN liked it. And I saw some other article that said like he would probably say no if approached again about another. Another adaptation.
They've really done a really good job here, and you want to say that Todd Howard being a weirdo, I mean it from a place of love, because he's a
weirdo.
Yeah,
he's a games guy. He might not be the right guy to do movies or TV.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, I wonder what he's going to do with the Elder Scrolls 6. Which we'll
find out in what,
decade
5
now.
more years.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder who's going to come up first. GTA 6 or Elder Scrolls 6, or at the same time they just drop both. Like.
I think GTA is pretty firm for next year.
Yeah. That's definitely like that trailer's insane as well. So that's coming along. But with this Elder Scrolls and Todd Howard being like saying it wasn't like if he had issues with it, I'd be like, I don't know where he found the issues, because as a fan of Fallout and as just like a fan of good TV shows, it walks that tightrope very well, where it could have been like I was same with you, Chris. Like when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, like all right, cash in on this, I guess. Let's see what happens. But then I watched the first episode, I was like, oh, so it's done by people who understand the original material, and I won't even say respect, because you don't have to respect the original material. You just have to understand it and tell your own story. Right. So they understood it. And they gave the original material its due, but they added stuff onto it. Like I said, it's like the story with the Maximus, the Brotherhood of Steel guy. Yeah. It just like basically like, holy shit! If this was a mission in Fallout, I would have loved it. And there's little, like you're saying, like they do the little nods to the mechanics of the game, because there's so many little side missions as the the series carry on, where I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how it is. You get bogged down with side missions all the fucking time. Preston Garvey telling me another settlement. Right. Oh my god, that's
so hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And I noticed some like slow motion, almost VAT style.
Yeah. They do that as well.
That's little really mods. Cool. Oh man, that's a pretty good head explosion in the first episode.
Yeah.
Boy, I did enjoy very much. I'm looking forward to the rest. So that's great,
because it was like the when the sort of the whole sort of, won't go into details, but when the whole sort of riot thing was happening, it was that perfect combination of the ridiculousness and just the gross like just the real visceral shit in there.
100%.
But it was just done to like 50s doo-wop music, and that is Fallout. That is Fallout.
They nail it. I agree. They absolutely nail that.
Yeah.
So very good. It's a pleasant surprise to me. For sure.
One last thing to say: in future episodes, you get Matt Berry in there, so that's always.
Is he Codsworth?
Watch the next episodes. You'll see.
I only say that because the first episode you see a Codsworth like in the background for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And you hear a voice that's like, "Whatever you say, madam," and it's like that's got to be Matt Berry. Yes. I said out loud to my wife, "Is that Matt Berry?"
Yeah, it is. It is, but
fuck yes.
Yeah, he gets the best. It's one of the funniest. Like, no, I won't go into it.
I'm a huge Matt Berry fan. So
whenever he shows up on the screen, he just, as he does with everything, just steals the scene. And obviously he's amazing in it. But yeah, so bonus Matt Berry is perfect for anything.
Awesome.
Well, and he's also a droid in. Is it Boba Fett? The Boba Fett show?
Oh yeah,
it's
one of
Ahsoka.
one of the best parts of Boba Fett. No, it's definitely Boba Fett because he's talking to Fett about like Jabba the Hutt, and he's talking about Bib Fortuna. Incredible. Okay, all right. Fallout. That's final thoughts on Fallout.
Yes.
The floor is closed for Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, we also need to discuss the First Omen.
Yes.
We don't need to go too much on this. I know Umar hasn't seen it. But I just want to also express and I'm just going to get right into it.
Go for it.
The First Omen, to me, gets a thumbs up.
Absolutely. Two thumbs.
Is it now?
I think it's the second best in the franchise, easily.
I think
it's as good as the original movie.
I was going to say, this was a perfect prequel to the Gregory Peck 1976 Omen.
How the hell are we saying this?
I'm shocked.
I'm not kidding.
Especially after we got The Exorcist Believer a while back.
This is how you do it.
This is how you do it compared to the shit show that was.
I can't argue with that in the slightest.
Really?
I know. I can't believe I'm saying this.
It had some great moments, and you know me, and I've said it a million times. I'm not the person that I'm scared with the slaughterhouse, blood, gore. My biggest fear is when you reach into the dark room. It's not the thing standing in the dark room, but the hand that moves your hand to the light in the dark room that you don't see. And this is perfect.
I think it nails
that kind of. In that kind of terror.
It so pays homage to the old school Satanic Panic movies, and it's all set in Italy, and it feels like a 70s Italian movie. There's some things in this movie that are so batshit crazy, like we're talking like Argento Fulci insanity in this movie.
Yeah.
Like really bright lights and
it's just not so much maybe that some of that. But some of the things that happen in the story and some of the I think I could say with too much of a spoiler, there are some creature effects and there are some things that happen that are so bonkers and insane, and they feel like if you made this movie look like a 70s movie with a filter or something, you might not be able to tell that it's not authentic.
Right.
Holy shit.
The zooming in camera shots of eyes are really up close. It feels Italian to me.
It has that 70s horror feel to it, flat out. It has cleaner visuals.
It's a mix of Rosemary's Baby and Suspiria.
Okay. You're selling this.
I can't believe I'm telling you this, but I really liked it.
And I don't know about you, DK, but the one little retcon that they changed
about the parentage.
Yes.
It's not really.
I was going to say I didn't really mind.
I think it's a loophole. I think it's still correct. I think it's still. It goes along with the original.
Yeah. No, I said I didn't mind it if they went that direction, kind of with it. It doesn't really change really anything.
No, not even a little bit.
To that.
And I have to say this too about the ending, and I don't want to give any real spoilers here.
Right.
I love the ending. I think this movie gets better as it goes. Like if there's a graph, this movie's doing this the whole time.
Yeah, it's a 90-degree.
Legitimately.
It's a 45-degree angle straight up,
I really think so. It's just building and building and building.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to the end, I love where the story ends up. And the promise of what comes next.
I literally, the night that I saw this, I came home and watched the 76.
And it leads right in.
And it's without a beat.
Legitimately, yeah.
Okay.
But what I love is we've got these other new characters who we can play with. Here's my pitch. We have First Omen. Then you go right into Original Omen.
Right.
And I would like to make it a trilogy. So we make a new sequel. I want now a sequel from this team to The Omen.
Yeah.
Involving the characters and things from First Omen.
What's Sam Neill doing?
What's he doing?
Yeah, we've got to bring him back in.
Who's the modern day? Like who would be Damien today?
Oh. Okay, so
because he would be like late teens, early 20s.
I feel like every single person in Hollywood is going to say Timothy Chalamet.
No, but you can't give him everything.
No,
No, I don't want him to have it. I don't want him to have it.
I honestly want somebody a little more menacing, physically.
Yeah.
Just kind of. I would want somebody
who looks like Wes Bentley.
Okay, maybe that's the thing when it comes to film actors. My sort of rosters, like people who are in their 30s and 40s, like like the guys who are in the MCU now. That's all out. But I'm saying maybe like a Miles, what's his name?
Teller,
yeah, that sort of guy, basically, who can play. Even he's getting a bit older, if you know what I mean. So like that's why everyone's default is Timothy Chalamet, because everyone's him, right? Yeah, they're all him.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen, but that's I feel like people would say that. Whoever it would be, but that's my pitch, is to make it a new trilogy, but the original Omen is the middle movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be so great. And the way the movie ends up, Chris, I don't want to give anything away for people who haven't seen it, but there is a certain setup with characters who are left that is very interesting to me.
Yes.
Particularly those three that
I know. Yeah.
And to do with who they are and what they're.
I can almost see.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Like making a new trilogy to a degree, but the second movie is a companion piece to the original 76.
That could work too.
From like someone else's perspective.
That runs parallel to that 76 movie with those three characters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you can do the 76 one could be the guy who works at the consulate who's hearing it in third hand from Gregory Peck's life. We're like, holy shit, what's happened now? What? Your nanny did what?
Just him on the phone.
Shit, like, just like a guy just losing it, like a bottle episode. He's just losing his mind of like Gregory Peck telling him all this wacky shit that's happening with his.
He's in the break room, and somebody's like, "Did you hear about this? Did you hear what the nanny did at the birthday party?"
Just a counselor, or embassy worker that overheard it.
That's like a janitor.
Just the weird, but that kind of crap follows him home too. You know
Sure.
Yeah.
What could even happen is you can actually make a legitimate movie out of it, where an embassy worker is hearing about this shit, and then they try to get a book deal going and try to be like, oh, I've heard this stuff and I tried to get it done, but then Damien gets his revenge and kills him.
I was gonna say, yeah,
the cult comes for him. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm shocked that it's good. This was a movie that no one asked for. This is a franchise that is, in my mind, just been dormant for so long. I feel like interest has waned.
I mean,
in the Omen
let's be honest. In my
so many
mind,
bad sequels.
I was going to say, in my mind, this was a one and done movie. There are no sequels. I do not, I disavow and do not acknowledge
any other. I like the one. There's a made-for-TV one that it's very tame.
The only one that I'm familiar with is the Sam Neill one, where he's grown up.
He doesn't do very much. I wish there was more to that movie, because the promise of, you see him on the cover, he's spitting image, like, he's Damien. He's the perfectly cast. He looks evil. But the movie, he doesn't do a whole lot.
It was more of a political drama.
Yeah.
Than an actual Omen movie, to me.
What you could do is like to me, like the unofficial sequel to the Omen is the Dead Zone, which is more like how that's what I think Damien would have been. He would have been the guy that released the nuclear bombs. Obviously, Martin Sheen's character is a bit more conflicted and all that. The whole sort of story. But that's the thing that you think Damien would do. Like, of course, he's going to release the fucking nukes. He's an asshole.
Yeah. I think that's a good observation. I think Dead Zone, it kind of is like a great. That's a good idea.
Yeah, like a spiritual sequel to
you
Omen.
Should write. You should be a writer, Umar.
Oh no, I should be. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, I'm just as surprised as you. I had a great time at the theater. I would watch it again. I will be buying the Blue. I'm into it.
I'm probably going to watch it next week. In that case, I'll be honest. This is one.
If you like the Omen, and if you are into that kind of a thing, if you want to see nuns having fun. Chris, there's the shot of the nun. She's like jumping on a trampoline, smoking a cigarette.
Okay, growing up Catholic.
It's so 70s.
This doesn't, and growing up Catholic in the 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
And going to a few years to Catholic school, none of that surprises me one bit.
Yep.
Wait, that reminds me of one thing. I don't know if you've seen this TV show, but Derry Girls.
I know what
Are
it
you
is. I've
familiar?
not watched it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So obviously it's based in Northern Ireland,
Mhm.
and it's in the 90s. But obviously, yourself being raised Catholic, apparently I've been hearing from people it represents exactly how it was growing up in that area, spot on, and it's like hilarious. So
oh my god,
definitely
I
seek
gotta
it
watch
out.
it. I will have them. Dairy Girls.
Derry Girls.
It's
Yeah.
Derry.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
only like 3 seasons, and you know how it is in the UK. We only do like 6 episodes a season, so it's manageable.
So it's a weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
But so yeah, my final thoughts on First Omen is people should check it out. I know there's the other Nun movie that
Which
came out.
I wanted to say I have seen this.
I haven't watched it yet. I want to.
It's
But
Immaculate?
Immaculate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually not bad.
can you compare? Which one did you prefer?
I mean, I will say that I preferred The Omen. It had much more of that my favorite era of horror movies
Right.
vibe to
It
it.
feels like a classic. It
It-
stands right up there against the original.
But this
All right.
Immaculate did have some Rosemary's Baby kind of
Right.
feel to it, but you can tell it was more of a modern horror than
Okay.
the First Omen. So
Fair enough.
I mean, I would say, yeah, definitely if you're into that
I'm gonna watch it.
genre
I just
of
haven't
movie,
been able to
absolutely go see it. You'll enjoy it.
Mm.
Like I said, it's I won't give it as high of praise as I did First Omen, but it's better than a lot of the stuff that's come out.
yet. Okay.
So,
Umar, did you see Late Night with the Devil?
No, that's on my list. I've seen the trailer and it looks
oh,
amazing.
yeah,
Is it?
That is another one you've just got to see.
We
Yeah.
loved it. We saw it in the theater.
Yes.
We liked it a lot.
Because it's I can never say his name, but the guy
Dismulchian?
Dismulchian.
Yeah, him.
Dismulchian.
Amazing. And like the trailer, it's basically when I saw the trailer, I was like, why hasn't this done before? This seems
For real.
amazing. So I'm glad it lives. The sort of vibe that I'm getting from it. Again, you guys have seen it, not myself, but is it similar to Deadstream in that it's a high concept, but like really, really well done sort of concept? Because Deadstream, it was like,
I love Deadstream. First of all,
Yes, we love that.
I would say yes and no.
Yeah.
It's not so married to the format as you think it would be.
Right.
Because they present it as I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but
it's
the
found
movie's-
footage. They do it
it's-
as like it's real
well,
footage.
It's
Yeah.
presented as a documentary that they put
That's it,
together,
yeah.
but it
Yes.
includes the found footage.
Right.
But my number one complaint about the movie is regarding this aspect of it. I won't go too far, and I did like it a lot. I would recommend you seeing it, but it's probably not exactly what you're thinking it's going to be, but it's close.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But we
Well,
recommend
and I
it.
mean, this isn't really a spoiler, but it's like there were some like with the documentary seeing non-recorded, like non-videoed behind the scenes.
So you're seeing the broadcast, but you're also seeing things in between, like at the ad breaks. There's documentary footage
right,
at the ad breaks.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. No, it's one that I've been meaning to watch, but again, it's just finding the time.
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's why I wanted to see Immaculate. Just couldn't get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, it's great to hear all that. We're surprisingly positive on a lot of things today, and I really like
I
that.
know, right?
I'm glad.
I'm glad.
I prefer to be positive for sure.
Yeah.
I hate being negative.
You love it.
Unfortunately, it just happens too often.
No.
Well, okay. We could before we go.
Okay.
There is a little negativity we can do. If I just assume, are you caught up on X-Men '97?
Hold on, before we do that, I want to give just a little more positivity
Oh.
on the movie that I got to see.
Oh yes.
And I got an early screening of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Mm.
Yes, this is a typical Guy Ritchie movie, but I'm fine with it. It was fun. It had a lot of like historic name drops, but this did not happen.
So kind of like Inglourious Bastards a little bit.
Yes,
right.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was another Inglourious Bastards, and it was a romp. It was hysterical. Ian Fleming is actually in this group.
Why
that
wasn't Matt
he was a
Gawley Ian
part of.
Fleming?
Yeah, for real.
Matt Gawley should have been Ian Fleming.
Of course. Ian Fleming, my dear
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
But Henry Cavill, totally different role than he's ever been in.
Yeah.
Is he the
And,
Christopher Lee character?
Well, Christopher Lee is not actually named, but the one thing with this being, where I can't really talk about this until the embargo, he is represented well. Let's
Good.
put it that way. He's represented well in
Someone stabs someone in the back, and it's like, the sound of that. If Peter Jackson ever brings it up, I'll know.
But no, I mean, I loved it. It's a fun movie. Is it going to win any Academy Awards? Absolutely freaking not. But I will say, and you've seen it in the preview, I kind of chuckled every time I heard the Austrian accent of Alan Richardson. Because he kind of plays this, you see him from Reacher, his, big muscle bound ass running around, breaking stuff and doing these kind of things. Well, he's this almost personality of like a stereotypical 40s Austrian intellectual, but still doing the giant badass beating the hell out of the people with the back of an axe handle.
I'll check this out when it comes to streaming, for sure.
There's like one part he's like, my biggest plan is to have a barrel full of Nazi hearts.
Sweet.
I'm like, okay. But he hasn't, but he's talking like this, World War II Austrian bookworm at the same, it's so funny. And so some of the stuff is so over the top but it was a good movie. I recommend when it comes out next week, definitely go see it.
All right.
So, okay, now we can get into the
X-Men 97.
Yes.
Umar, have you watched any of it?
I've only done 2 episodes. So that the first 2 came out, and then it just sort of lost in watching order. Sure. I thought the first 2 were fine. Does it get better or worse? Or
I think it stays about the same. I like it. I'm genuinely positive on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but I was a huge fan of the original show. So for me, this is like the classic X-Men doing classic X-Men things. And yes, it sucks that some of these classic stories have been really shortened, and like they did Inferno. They did Inferno.
Oh, okay.
Like in 30 minutes you get the entirety of Inferno. So it just doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
But I'm still generally pretty positive on the show.
Okay.
I'm fine with where it is. Let's just say this is a check-in. I'm still fine with where it is. I'm enjoying the show.
How many episodes is it now? Like 7 or so?
5? 5 right now.
Okay,
I think it's a total of 8.
Total of 8. Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Come on.
What's your thoughts, Chris?
Chris, the video game episode. They do an episode that is a direct reference to the X-Men arcade game.
Okay.
The one that's the 4 people one.
That's
yes.
Yes.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
To me, that in the 4th episode is the best episode. I mean, it's the fact that they, kind of pushed out the original girl that did the Jubilee voice. I was kind of pissed about. I mean, I know she says that she stepped down because of it, but sorry, I know why they kind of pushed her out. That she was actually in that 4th episode playing an older.
I was so glad to hear that.
I was glad to hear that. I thought the first 2 episodes were okay. I mean, and all right, let me start this before I go on the rant. I am older than you guys, and I was in my 20s, early 20s when the cartoon came out. So I was okay with it, but I wasn't as enamored. But I had been collecting the comic book. I mean, my first one I got was Giant Size Annual #1. I mean, I've gone back and got older copies, but I mean, how long ago that I've been a fan of X-Men.
Right.
And have followed these stories until probably 2000, 2001, when it started kind of going downhill. The first 2 episodes were fine. Inferno is one of my favorite storylines, and I fucking hated episode 3. Because there is so much more to that story, and they did it so dirty and so wrong. Especially, like, I don't know how much you want to. There's 2 storylines that they combined in one, and one of them they did horribly wrong, and one of them they fucked up.
There's a difference.
4, there is a difference. 4 was an outlier to the rest of the season so far.
It was so fun. It was such a fun episode.
It was a very good episode. I wish they would have just named it Mojoverse or Mojo World
Motendo
instead of Motendo. That was kind of stupid. But that was just a little thing of that episode that I was like, okay, you're throwing a Nintendo member.
What I loved is that they called it a Motendo, but it looked like a Sega Genesis or
I know,
Mega Drive.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It totally was not a Nintendo, but they used that name. 5. I think the problem is they skipped so much in that timeline that happened before and all, and then they put literally like 4 storylines and crammed it into 37 minutes.
Yeah, that's my probably biggest complaint. And I would agree with you on that.
You know, there was no build up to anything. You know, I think they only did a couple of deaths for shock value.
There's a bunch of deaths, Chris.
And there was, but I mean, there was no, honestly, I almost considered it laughable.
I didn't feel that at all.
Knowing those characters, but knowing those characters, I almost thought it was laughable the way they set their deaths up. Not per se the deaths themselves, but the way they set those deaths up.
Okay.
And it's like, at this point, I don't know where they're going to go after.
It's hard to say.
For the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to try to speculate and whatever, but I mean, I can agree with your complaint that the 30-minute episode is just not enough to tell the story they're telling.
Even if you were going to condense the Inferno storyline, it should have at minimum been 2 episodes.
I agree with you. I still enjoyed the episode, but I agree with you.
No.
Come on, Madeline Pryor in her little outfit.
Well, one, it wasn't the best version of that outfit.
Okay, well, it's the best they could get away with.
Okay, all right. See, here's my biggest complaint on this whole argument, and I think it is such a gaslighting argument. When you complain about something in this, people are like, well, this is made for kids. Okay, well, wait a minute. You're doing a, insinuated gay sex scene between Morph and Wolverine in a shower.
It's not quite that. It's a friend saying something to a friend in the shower where somebody's naked.
Where somebody's naked, he has a 6-pack of beer, and he says, well, let me scratch that itch, and only puts out 1 claw.
It's just fun.
Tell me, Umar, you tell me what that
like
reference.
That. That's a bro thing.
Yeah, it's one that I don't. Like I said, the first 2 episodes, and the thing is about I think they were good. I think they've carried on with the tradition of the X-Men. Original. Obviously, call it 97 now. But the thing is, with the original X-Men cartoon, I liked it. But I preferred the Spider-Man and Batman more because the only reason was even in the original, even back in the 90s, as a kid when I was watching it, I was like, fuck, they're doing the soap opera stuff, which is the whole thing about X-Men, which is that's the whole hook about it, which is it has wicked action, it has really good storylines, but it has the triangle of Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Cyclops. I'm like, oh, cool. Even as a kid, I was like, I get it. And then also the whole sort of allegory for mutants and civil. That's all cool and everything. But sometimes I just want to see Spider-Man swinging around. So I used to prefer that more. So I was like, when 97 came along, I loved watching X-Men as a kid, but it was one that was okay, cool. I'll watch it, and I'm like, yeah, they kind of carry on the trend. If I'm being honest, in the first 2 episodes, just like it looks like it picked up where it left off. But deep down, I was like, I wish they did like Gargoyles. I was a fan of Gargoyles. Remember that one?
Oh, absolutely.
Aren't they doing that?
They're talking about doing a live action
Yeah,
I don't
cartoon.
want
I'm
live
saying
action.
just like a continuation of the
Yeah,
90s one,
just
or
make more.
even the Spider-Man one. Those were the ones I used to watch. Like I'll be honest, when I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons, like if the X-Men cartoon was on, I'll watch it, but deep down I'm like, I wish it was Spider-Man. I wish I was watching the other one, or even the Incredible Hulk one was good, but it was a bit too melodramatic with, obviously, because it had the little the sort of the world's littlest hobo, the world's smallest hobo sort of aspect of it, where he's all sad and everything.
He's
But I'm like,
sad,
as a kid, I'm like, I
They
don't
were,
really
they
care.
were, yeah, they were doing the Bill Bixby version
Yeah,
of cartoon.
yeah.
Kids
So,
love Bill Bixby.
Yeah.
well, yeah, we do, but
Right. Come on, who
But that-
doesn't love those 80s Hulk movies?
oh, so
I love
good.
The
him.
Daredevil and Thor movie is probably the greatest
The-
cinema on
with
TV
Kingpin
ever.
there as well. Kingpin as well.
Yeah, John Rhys Davies.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
so good.
incredible.
But with the X-Men cartoons, they always been, they've been about something. X-Men, since the day that they began, they've always been about civil rights movements. Even like as a child, I couldn't see it as a kid, but obviously it's thinly veiled. That's the whole hook about X-Men. Like the whole hook about Spider-Man is accepting your responsibilities and being a hero and doing the good stuff. There's always a hook underneath them, and X-Men is all about that. So it looks like it carries on, and obviously in this sort of audience that they have now, they just they've carried on from what it was in the 90s and just tilted it a little bit, because I haven't seen this, but I saw like a tweet or whatever you call it, NX online, which was how like Rogue was pretty
Womanly
drawn
proportion.
womanly,
Oh, the butt
womanly
thing.
proportions, and now not so much. So I'm like, okay, but that's a product of the 90s. But I even remember speaking of the Spider-Man cartoon, I was like, well,
Black Cat.
yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
we know what's going on here, guys. So
Yeah.
So I understand.
I had that action figure.
It's kind of crazy, the sort of shit that they're getting away with on a kids' cartoon
It's
back
true.
then. Because
Right.
Umar, let me ask you this: Did you guys have the VHS? So there was a thing here in the U.S. where if you went to Pizza Hut, they would give you a VHS of the first. There was like, what were there, 3 of them?
First 3, yeah.
And they would have the first couple. They would have the first couple episodes of the X-Men cartoon.
Yes.
Did they have that?
I remember the adverts, but the thing is, we never could make it. We were poor as shit. We couldn't make it to Pizza Hut and grab that. But they did a promotion. They were like promoting the hell out of, because it was coinciding with, obviously, the Jim Lee X-Men revamp. It's basically around the same time, and they were promoting it loads, like the whole animated series on Fox, Fox Kids, and all that sort of stuff. I don't know if it was Pizza Hut. It was they gave VHS of the first couple of episodes. That was a promotion, as far as I remember, that they did, but I never got my hands on it. You guys did you guys yours?
I did get those, and those were sacred tapes to me. And I think that's why this show is so perfect for me.
Okay, much like me lucking out and working at GameStop when PlayStation 5 came out.
Yes,
I worked in Pizza Hut when those videotapes come out. So I've got like 2 copies of each, one still in plastic and one I opened. So,
and they were cool because they would have like interviews with some of the creators beforehand.
And Stanley.
Yeah, it was cool.
Stanley did the introduction before the episode.
Yeah, it was really awesome. Yeah.
So,
but also the town where I grew up, the Pizza Hut had the X-Men arcade game.
Yes. Yep.
So it was just this combo, man. There was just something going on with the X-Men Pizza Hut.
The first X-Men game I remember proper playing as a kid was Clone Wars on
so was that Super?
Or
Genesis?
Sega Genesis, and
Mega Drive.
but I played it on Genesis, and I really loved that game because it was one that
it's hard.
It's so hard. Like, we only got like halfway through. It really is unforgiving.
Yeah.
But the original X-Men game, not the arcade one, but the original one, that was fun as well. But Clone Wars was the one that I got my hands on first, and it just awesome. I don't know if you guys played, but you load the cartridge. I think you get the the Sega title card, but you don't get anything else, and you get into the level. And the first level is kind of challenging, but not too challenging. You don't get any instructions on anything.
Do you start as Gambit in that one?
No, you can. This is where it's great. You get started as 4 or 5 characters. Depending, like you switch it on, you're one of them. You can
Okay.
be Wolverine, and I used to
I've
be
played
this
this
old
one.
character. I
I've
think I
only
wanted
played
to
it.
be. I think I wanted to be Cyclops because he's got the distance on the
Right.
in his blast. So I kept resetting the game until I'm either Cyclops or Gambit, so I can manage distance. But the first mission is, I don't know. I forget if it's either a danger room situation.
I think it was
or,
a danger room. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you're done, then the game starts.
Yeah.
Then like
Does it go to a jungle next?
towards the end? That's
Yeah, I know
after,
there's a
think.
jungle in there.
Savage Land. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
probably
because
Savage Land.
you get Magneto onto your team halfway through after you defeat him, and he was a bastard. He was really hard.
Yeah.
Like,
As always.
horrible,
I
horrible.
would say, yeah.
But it was you had Sentinels. You had a Sentinel mission in
Mhm.
there. That was really good because it was awesome. Where you fight. I don't think it was Nimrod. I don't know who it was. You defeated them, and then you go through the whole level. Then after you defeat them, you have to run back in the space of 2 minutes before the whole area explodes.
The factory explodes.
Yeah, the way that you went down. And I remember as kids, we used to draw a map because obviously you didn't have the internet back then, kids. So you had to like draw the map to run
Yep.
back. This is the way we do, and then we had to pause the game every 5 seconds. Fuck, we're in a dead end. Where are we meant to go? Where are we meant to go? This way, that way.
I love it.
So good.
That they don't do that anymore.
No.
Kids these days don't understand
Yeah.
No.
having to take notes on video games.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just don't get it.
Now I say I'm old enough that I had, even before that,
In the
They had
booklets.
they had an X-Men computer game. And it
Oh.
pretty much looked like Zelda.
I haven't played that, I don't think.
Oh my god.
What's it called? Is it just called X-Men?
But was it like the 1975 giant size sort of characters, or because it would have been?
Yeah, because it was in the 80s. But it was you had Cyclops, you had, I can't remember, but it was one of the first games out, and it was a computer game. And it just
Okay, I think I found
Spectrum,
it.
Commodore.
it?
What was it on?
Well, it's PC. The cover
Yeah.
is gray, but has like arcade.
Can you share the
Yeah, hang on.
Let's see.
Let me actually tell you what, that image is too blurry. Let me
Okay.
find a better. But yeah,
And
I think I found it. I recognize the cover, but I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever played it.
And I also had the board game with the gray plastic figures.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you get Google?
Like I said, I was a huge X-Men fan.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to share
Okay.
this and I'll show
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. You see that?
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
that it, Chris?
Was that the one?
Yes, that
That's
is
got to
it.
be it.
Yes, that
Paragon
is it.
Software.
Yep, that's it.
Paragon Star.
Here, let me see if I can X-Men Paragon. Oh, I can't type X-Men Paragon Software. Madness in Murder World.
Yep,
Oh.
that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so there's gameplay over there.
There it is right
Oh, no,
there.
was that Fall of Mutants? That one? Oh, is that?
No, this has
Is that?
to be
Oh,
it.
but that looks like Zelda. Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is X-Men 2, The Fall of the Mutants. So they must have done a sequel.
Yeah.
Madness in Murder World. Tell you what, just for people to see.
Here, look on the. Is it? Okay.
Madness.
There we go.
You know, there's a long play. There we go.
Wait,
This has got to
That's-
be it.
but that's a DOS.
Yeah, that'd be Windows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. All right, we're just going to be
Chris,
quiet
is
for
this-
the next
Go
10
for
minutes
it.
and
Right?
watch it.
Let's play it. It looks right.
Oh my god.
Oh,
So these
yes.
are these your different abilities?
Yes,
Must
So
be.
is it an adventure game?
it's a side scroller.
Stop.
Oh, so
talking.
I guess number 2 was like Zelda.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So maybe that's the one you're thinking of.
That
So-
may
oh,
be
look at
the
the
one
Sentinel. Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah.
A little guy. Oh, they
He's
got a
just
nice
a guy.
sign. Murder World. It's well, so you don't go in there by accident.
No.
Oh, no.
Whoa. Okay.
Oh, this is awesome.
This is wild. Oh, I love
Whoa,
the screen.
that is-
Oh, hold
oh,
on, hold
that
on. I gotta
screen.
go back. Yeah,
But
that's
yeah.
beautiful.
Right there.
It's beautiful, but it's also a lot. And then, like,
Oh, come on. Oh, you can use the directional buttons.
yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Like,
Come on.
Yeah.
that's a. Oh, Dazzler's in there.
Come
Yep.
on. I want to play this.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But yeah, I played this one, but I was thinking the second one was the one that looked more like Zelda. But yes,
Hang on,
this was
is that a goddamn Dracula?
yes, Wax Museum.
Oh, where are you? In the wax museum.
Of
Right,
course, Oil
yeah.
Dracula's here. There's no music in this apparently.
Oh, is that wait?
That
is
looks
that
like
Professor
a
X?
Invisible Man in a
I thought it was
wheelchair.
Professor X in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Oh, you think it's supposed to be?
That's supposed to be Professor X, and that is a
A
why am
brood?
I trying to? Yeah, Brood.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's so wild. It's interesting what little details we've got here. That's
Oh, no.
that Jedi guy Kiamundi, right? From episode 1.
No.
And this is I don't know who that is.
That I think is just like some gargoyle thing. And then that was, oh God, I can't remember his name. He was kind of like the Marvel Mr. Mixelplex.
He looks like a scroll almost.
Yeah.
He was green like that, but he was more of, like I said, more of like a Mixelplex.
And then all those, and then Dracula.
Yeah.
Goddamn
Why?
Dracula.
Hey, Dracula was in X-Men.
I
He
know.
was. No, also, yeah, he did fight Blade.
He turned Storm into a vampire.
Well, there's Storm right there.
Yep.
Yeah. And
This
those
is
are QR
wild.
codes in the back.
Yeah. Pretty close to Spider-Man colors here on this.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I probably want to play this. The cute
There's the
little...
little sentinels.
Oh, hello. I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this looks wild. Thank you for letting me know about this, Chris.
Yeah. A Madness in Murder World.
Yeah.
Like, what?
If I had to choose a favorite X-Men game, I mean, it would be hard not to pick X-Men Legends.
Yeah.
I also love Ultimate Alliance, though, and it's more than just...
Alliance was fun, but
it's more than just X-Men, but you can choose a team of just
I was saying when I
Yeah.
was playing it on your
Oh, that one, Ultimate Alliance
Yes,
3.
3.
Really good. I wish it wasn't trapped on the Switch.
I know.
It's a great game. They really should port that and just let other people enjoy that game because it's
Yeah.
fantastic. All right. Well, anything else we have to talk about? Anything, Umar, from you or?
No, nothing really. It's been fun, guys.
Yeah.
As always.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's about it.
Thanks for coming on short notice.
Yeah.
No problem, guys.
For sure.
You have to come on a little more often, not a year in between there.
Oh, definitely. Just blame DK, man. He doesn't book me in for anything.
It's me.
I'm blaming
It's
it on
my
you.
fault.
I'm blaming
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm blaming you, DK. It's your
I'll
fault.
take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's my fault. Yeah, let's do this again soon. And please check out the Discord. And also, even more importantly, check out the Kickstarter for Lad.
Absolutely.
There's a link in the description of this. Please go support that project. It's very, very cool, very important to me. I would love it if you could do that. So please check it out.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Very awesome. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks. So,
Yes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here, Umar.
Thanks. See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.